Good morning. You must be looking for this. Winky, your interior decorator. I'm responsible for your kitchen. Is Amy around? Amy! Is there something different about you? Come on.
Mom, I am so sorry. I totally forgot. Please tell me we're not redecorating again.
No. I just told Winky that she could come and take some photos for her portfolio, but I scheduled it weeks ago, before.
It's fine.
It'll take 20 minutes tops. I mean, it's such a small kitchen.
I can totally reschedule this, really.
Amy, it's fine.
All right, then. I'll just get my stuff. Right back.
So is everything... You all right?
Amy, you have to stop asking me that.
No, I know. I thought I heard...
What?
I thought I heard you talking to yourself last night.
Well, it must have been the television.
Didn't sound like the television. Mrs. O'Donnell, who brought over the potato casserole, she left the number for a grief counselor.
Did you taste her potato casserole?
It's been 2 weeks, Mom, and I just think the way you hold everything in, it's not healthy. You need to talk to someone.
You mean other than myself?
I'm back. Listen, I'm not going to make a big production out of this. One light, a couple of props.
We have our own fruit.
Yes, I saw. Yours looked a little mealy.
Mealy?
She didn't mean that.
Do you mind if I hide your toaster oven? Yours is nearly an antique.
I want to go to work.
I think that's a good idea.
I don't know. I'm usually perceptive about this kind of thing. There's something different about you, isn't there?
My fiancé died of a heart attack 2 weeks ago, 48 hours before we were going to be married. Also, I've cut my hair.
Oh, maybe I should.
Amy, I think you're right. I do feel better.
I still say Heather got a raw deal. How's she doing? She bouncing back?
I haven't talked to her in a week or so. I've left her a couple of messages, though.
Really? But you two are still...
I'm not having this conversation.
I was just thinking, if you're not, maybe I should call her.
Dr. McCarty? Dr. Egan. Just the person I was looking for. I mean, not right this moment, but I was about to be looking for.
I need the x-rays.
On the girl in the car accident, right here. Severe malar fractures on the left and right cheek, as well as nasal fracturing in 6 different places and a detached left nostril.
What about the orbital blowout?
She's clean.
Good. Put her on my schedule for tomorrow and have her prepped in the morning.
Okay, dude, how'd you land that?
Dr. Redeker asked me to assist.
Yeah, well, first years never get teamed with visiting doctors. You know what this means, don't you? She did you.
Right. Right, because it couldn't mean that she read my med school transcript and saw that I had a year of plastic surgery training. This is wrong. There should be a photo in here.
Photo of your patient?
Well, how are we supposed to put the girl's face back together if we don't know what it looked like in the first place?
Good point.
And a pretty hard point to miss if you know anything about plastic surgery.
So what do you think? Should I call Heather?
Did you ask the caller what kind of danger the child is in?
I told you. All she said was that there's a kid living in some warehouse off Dexter Ave, and she thinks he's in trouble or something.
Or something? Are those her words or yours?
Maxine, I know you've been through a rough time, and I'm sorry about Jared.
Thank you, Kimberly. I appreciate it.
But you've been gone for 2 weeks, and the rest of us have been picking up the slack, and you don't get to come back and challenge me like that in front of everyone.
What was that?
That was Kimberly trying to be sympathetic.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a long 2 weeks. How you doing?
Well, other than everyone asks me how I'm doing,
I think I know the answer to this question, but I have to ask.
Sean, I need to be back at work. Please do not suggest that I take any more time off.
Okay. Just try and take it easy today, all right? And if you change your mind and you think you want to...
Sean.
Have I told you how much I like the hair?
Well, I'm trying to get used to it.
It's a petition to modify custody. Mr. Moran is seeking sole legal custody of his 14-year-old daughter, Megan.
Have we attempted mediation?
They have, Your Honor, and it was not a success.
Failed miserably.
My client's case is straightforward. He wants the right to remove his daughter from Rockwater Academy, a boarding school that is causing Megan irreparable harm.
Now, that's a load of... Mrs. Moran, don't finish that sentence. Thank you. Mr. Moran, you're alleging that Megan is being abused in some way at the school?
School? That place isn't a school. It's a fat farm with blackboards.
Oh, my God. Here we go. His parents sent him to a fat camp one summer when he was 10, and we all have to pay for it for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, but the issue here is that Mrs. Moran sent Megan to a school that Mr. Moran does not approve of. Is that correct?
Yes.
No.
Counsel, what are the terms regarding schools according to the existing custody agreement?
No terms were stipulated, Your Honor. They left it open with the understanding they'd work it out between themselves.
And yet, here we are.
We had an oral agreement that my daughter would not be sent to any school that the other disapproved of, let alone some psycho fat farm cult.
Your Honor, I rest my case.
Yeah, we're all going to rest our case. I'm going to hear testimony in this matter. When, Mr. Van Etzel?
Later today at noon.
Later today at noon, and let's all be in better moods by then.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Diaz. Almost done. So how you feeling?
Okay, I guess. Probably better than I look, right?
That's temporary. Remember that. We're going to operate tomorrow. I'm going to need a photo of Anna.
A photo like a snapshot?
As big as you can find.
We took a pretty good prom photo. I have an A10 at home. I can have my brother bring it by.
Perfect.
I can look like that again. You promise?
I do.
Yeah, sí. El doctor es buena gente. No te preocupes.
I'm telling you, Connor is fine. Now, would you please get the hell out of here?
I'm not going anywhere until I've seen him, but I do appreciate your saying please.
You know, just because you flash some fascist government badge in my face doesn't mean I have to let you in.
Actually, it does. If you don't let me in, the next fascist badge you will see will belong to a police officer. And now, let me in, please.
There he is. You satisfied?
No, I am not. Is this your apartment?
I don't believe in private property, so that question really doesn't mean anything to me. You've seen Connor. He's fine. Now you can leave. Don't go over there. It took me forever to get him to sleep.
How did you get him to sleep?
He just went.
You gave him a beer?
No.
I have a very good sense of smell, and I clearly smell beer.
I just gave him a little, maybe 3 drops to help him sleep.
What is your name?
I don't have to tell you anything. What are you doing?
I'm taking Connor out of your custody.
Put him down.
Here's my card. if you want to talk to me about what you have to do in order to get your son back.
He's not my... Put him down. He's not my son. I just babysit him while his mom works.
And where is that? Where does his mother work?
Why should I tell you?
Because I can have you arrested. Because you are facing child endangerment charges. Because it is in your best interest to cooperate with me right now.
Okay. Her name is Brittany, and I have her cell number in the bedroom.
That would be a start. You all right? Yeah. I'm the one who's losing my mind. You'll be all right. You see you?
Megan was a good student at her old school. She had interests. She was a top-notch violinist with the orchestra. And the number of books she read, unassigned books, was staggering.
That's because she had no friends. She hid in a corner with her books.
Mrs. Moran, it's your husband's turn to speak.
The academic program at Rockwater Academy is bottom rung. Ask the administrators, they'll admit that. And there's no music program at all.
Technically, that's not correct, Your Honor. The school does have a music program.
A box of harmonicas and a reel-to-reel tape recorder is not a music program.
Do you see? He's got some wacko pipe dream that Megan's going to be on stage at Carnegie Hall or something. Meanwhile, he refuses to see what her life is really like, what her weight is doing to her future.
Your Honor, my client supports his daughter 100% in her weight loss efforts. His problem is with this boarding school as a solution.
Mrs. Moran, I'm interested to know why you felt it was necessary to take such a radical step.
Look, Your Honor, I've put Megan on a ton of different at-home diets, but trying to get her to stick to them, every dinner ended up in a huge fight. So finally, I gave up. Which is why I was surprised when she came up with the idea of going to Rockwater Academy.
It was Megan's idea to go to this school?
Your Honor, just because it was Megan's idea doesn't make it a good one.
Mr. Stein, I'm not going to tell you how to handle your case, but I would be interested in hearing from a representative from Megan's school.
Your Honor, the principal and at least a half a dozen administrators from Rockwater Academy are willing to testify.
I think one will be fine.
Does anyone know the password for the new database program? Does anyone know why we have a new database program?
Sorry, while you were gone, Kimberly.
Kimberly what? Decided the old system worked too well and it needed to be more complicated?
What'd the doctor say?
Connor's in good health, a little dehydrated, emotionally distraught. He keeps asking where his mother is, which is something I would like to know as well.
He's sleeping in office, my bet. Okay, you're in. The new password's spurious. Which we can change. It's Connor with two N's, right?
He's between 2 and 3, Caucasian. Mother's name is supposedly Brittany.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Connor Johnston, Caucasian, born March 3rd, 2000. And the birth mother is Brittany Marie Johnston.
Brittany, are you sure?
That's what it says right here. Why?
I placed a Brittany Johnston in foster care maybe 10 years ago. Can't be the same girl.
It's possible.
So what do you think? Pretty good shot of her if you don't mind the cheesy clouds in the background. Do you want me to try to enlarge it, or do you think this one is all right?
I never asked for a photo, Dr. McCarty.
What? You can't do a rhinoplasty without a visual aid.
I never said anything about doing a rhinoplasty. I'm doing a malar, nasal fracture reduction. That's it.
Wait, Dr. Egan, that can't be it. This girl's nose and cheekbones are completely shattered. She needs full-fledged reconstruction.
And if she were coming into my private practice, that's what I'd be doing. But I have back-to-back appointments in my West Hartford office, not to mention 5 surgeries scheduled here. I don't have time for a 4-hour operation.
You don't have time? Is that how you're going to explain that for the rest of her life her face will look like the back of the bus that hit her because you don't have time?
I don't have to explain anything to her, or to a first-year resident.
Wow, so I think I get it. We say we're a county hospital, we treat the poor and uninsured, but what we really mean is that it's kind of a hobby, and we'll do it as long as it doesn't get in the way of our real job.
My real job is what allows me to treat the poor and the uninsured. The 4 hours I spend on that girl in there are 4 hours I take from somebody else. You want to save the world? Good for you. Why don't you start by finding me another resident to assist? Because we're done working together.
That could have gone better.
Could call that number. Excuse me. I'm Maxine Gray with the Department of Children and Families. I'm looking for Brittany Johnston. Go ahead, look. Well, I was hoping that you might help me. I understand that she lives in this neighborhood. I'm going to give you my card, and if you happen to run into Miss Johnson, I would appreciate you calling me at that number.
Hold on. $20 and I might be able to hook you up.
I work for a city agency. We don't pay for information.
Well, I work for myself. Only thing I do for free is my girlfriend. Yo, Britt!
The end is near.
You remember me? It's good to see you, although I very much wish I weren't seeing you here.
What do you want? You got nothing to do with me. Some other lady's been on my case for years.
I'm here representing your son, Connor.
What do you know about Connor?
DCF took temporary custody of Connor this morning.
What?
I found him in a condemned apartment, along with his babysitter, a young woman with clear sobriety issues. He was sleeping off the beer she gave him.
You're a liar. Summer wouldn't do that.
Brittany.
Look, Summer's my friend. She wouldn't do that. I don't believe you.
Brittany, come back here. Come back here.
Each student has what we call a lifestyle advisor, like a guidance counselor. Megan is one of my advisees. We meet several times a week.
In what areas do you advise Megan?
I'm a licensed nutritionist, and I've also been trained in behavior modification. We discuss eating habits, diet, physical education.
Is there a separate advisor for academics?
No, I help out with that stuff too.
That stuff? You mean the stuff that the children are supposed to be learning? Tell me a little bit more about the school itself.
It's a state-of-the-art facility. In the design phase, we had input from physicians and Olympic trainers. For example, all classrooms are a mile hike from the dorm rooms, and all dorm rooms are on the 3rd and 4th floors. Elevators are only used to move furniture and boxes. Students are required to take the stairs.
What I'm curious about is this. In between all the physical training, the hiking, meeting with nutritionists, when does Megan have time to study?
Look, I don't know what you've heard, but our academic program is not only accredited, it meets and in some cases surpasses state requirements.
$12,000 a year. They don't even teach a foreign language.
Every school has its priorities.
And what is the average weight loss per student per year?
Around 40 pounds.
Megan has only lost 9 pounds in 2 years.
Your Honor, different children lose at different rates. Megan has a slow metabolism.
Do you agree?
Honestly, one of my jobs is to search the kids' rooms for hidden junk food. I almost always turn up a stash in Megan's room.
No one's reported this to me.
I've reported it to the administration several times.
Then why haven't I been notified?
Dear Mrs. Moran, as it turns out, we can't do anything to help your daughter after all. Here's a big refund check. You haven't gotten that call. I'm shocked.
Okay. Well, thank you for your help, Mrs. Margolis. And I think next I'd like to hear from Megan.
May I come in?
Just get away from me.
From what I saw, I had no choice but to remove Connor.
Oh, God, is that like in your manual or something? Because it's exactly what you said to me before you ruined my life.
I ruined your life.
You took me away from my family.
Your mother was an addict. She couldn't care for you. Brittany, she couldn't. It was my impression that the situation we found for you was a good one.
It was good for somebody.
But the last I heard, they were moving to adopt you.
Yeah. So they could get social services out of their hair and be free to smack me around and look the other way when my foster brother raped me.
I beg your pardon?
Yeah. So really, you know, great job.
Brittany, I'm sorry. I had no idea.
That.
You didn't tell me? You didn't tell anyone at DCF?
Tell you? I'm gonna tell you? You're the one who stuck me in that foster home. And now you're doing the same thing to Connor. And what's gonna happen to him? He should be with me.
Brittany, I can't help you. DCF has taken temporary custody of Connor. If you do the right things, the judge will give him back to you.
I don't believe you. Anyway, my life is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
No, I do not. You are 18 years old. It's all ahead of you. And what about Connor's life? Brittany, I can't undo what's happened to you. I wish I could. What I can do is promise to help you now. Connor's case will be reviewed tomorrow, and attendance does count, as is demonstrating you are serious about getting help.
So what do I have to do? Go into one of those programs?
That would be a start, yes.
Hey, Mom. Mom, you okay?
Good morning, Amy.
Is everything... You all right?
Well, so far, so good. Of course, the day is still young.
So I thought I heard...
What?
Crying.
Really? Did you check on Lauren?
Lauren's at her father's.
Well, that's odd. I don't know what you heard. It was probably the plumbing or something. I should have been out of here 15 minutes ago.
But I made breakfast.
Oh, no time. Have a good day, dear.
But I made... Belgian waffles.
The parenting seminars you'll be doing meet up here. We also have awesome group counseling and high school equivalency classes.
You should take him up on those. Brittany has a real aptitude for math.
What?
Well, you did.
Yeah, in the 2nd grade.
And these are new. It has all our rules, regulations, things like that. You'll want to give it a quick read-through. I'm real glad to see you back. I'm gonna start your paperwork. It'll just take a few minutes.
You didn't tell me you'd been here before.
Well, it was only for a few days. Me and Connor needed a place to stay.
Why'd you leave?
Started working again. Lived in with a guy. How long you think it is till I can get Connor back?
If you commit to this, show a judge that you intend to turn your life around, I'll go to bat for you this afternoon.
You ever hear from my mom? You know, my real mom.
I was in touch with her for a while. I tried to help her.
She couldn't do it.
She never made it this far, Brittany.
So you're not here in some sort of official capacity, are you? You know, check my blood alcohol content, something like that?
That's a much longer discussion for another day.
Ooh, I can't wait.
No, it's just... Well, I've been trying to talk to Peter about this, but he won't listen. Or he doesn't want to. I need to know about depression. What are the symptoms?
I don't know. Let's see. Change in appetite, insomnia, lethargy.
See? Mom, she has all those. Well, maybe not the lethargy part. She had enough energy to scare off the interior decorator, but all the rest.
It still might not mean anything.
It means she's not eating or sleeping. You know what she has for dinner every night? Nothing. A bowl of popcorn. That's it.
Amy, her fiance died 2 weeks ago.
I know that. Why do you think I'm so worried?
She's not depressed. She's grieving.
But she's not. You see? It's so important to Mom that all of us go on exactly as if everything's normal.
Okay, so that's what she needs right now.
But things aren't. And I know her. Like, you weren't around when Dad died. It's the same thing. She tries so hard to hold it all in, keep everything together, until she can't anymore. Sooner or later, she's gonna fall apart.
Have you talked to her about it?
I tried. She won't talk to anyone.
How do you know?
Well, I don't know. Is she talking to you about Jared?
Not much.
See? She's shutting everyone out.
Not everyone. She's been talking to Charles.
Charles? Charles Duff?
Yeah. Peter said that they had lunch a couple of times this week.
I shouldn't have snuck in the junk food, okay? That was wrong. But enough to get kicked out over?
No, no one's talking about kicking you out. But if the goal of the school is for you to lose weight...
There's more to the school than that. Didn't Miss Margolis tell you?
So you like the school?
I like it so much.
And what about it do you like specifically?
Just... like... everything. Everyone's nice and we all get along well and... it's very comfortable.
What about the academics?
I make good grades.
Do you find the school challenging?
I'm always a good student.
So basically you like it because everybody's nice.
Please. Don't make me go back to my old school. I never get harassed at this place. I'm not like the fat kid with no friends. I mean, everyone there. Everyone looks like me.
So no one's the fat kid?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Here you go, Mr. Diaz.
I don't understand. You don't need the photo?
To do the rhinoplasty, we would, but we've decided to do something a little different.
Like what?
It's called a fracture reduction.
This fracturing thing is not as good as... is it?
No, it's not as good, but it will help her. Her fractures will be fused, and she'll be able to breathe normally again.
Doctor, my wife, she keeps asking about her face. Will you be able to?
She'll still need to see a plastic surgeon.
You mean like pay for one?
Well, some of it should be covered by your insurance. You guys don't have insurance, do you?
Maybe I can talk to the doctor or something. You think that might help?
Kyle, when you have a minute?
Let me see what I can do. What's going on?
Do you remember a patient named Rufus White?
homeless guy, gangrene, lost a toe.
About to lose 2 more. I need your help in the ER.
No problem, but I may need your help as well.
There's no quid pro quo here, Kyle.
It's that car wreck victim. Remember, you asked me to assist Dr. Egan, and believe me, I appreciate the opportunity. This girl needs a rhinoplasty. Egan's too busy to do it.
Oh, give me a break. He wants me to cover for him again?
Yeah. He asked me to ask you. He's stuck at Memorial all day and doesn't think he can make it.
You can't keep dumping patients on me like this every time he has to run back to his private practice.
I can get the whole thing set up. Get her moved to the OR. We can do it at night when it's slower.
It's never slower, Kyle. Fine, I'll do it. But you better really need someone. Get the splint ready. And the nasal membrane.
Hold on a second. I almost got it. There it is. That's the way it should look. See? Nasal dorsum right there. Admitted it looks good.
It does.
And you love the way I say nasal dorsum.
Oh, you can see right through me.
Nasal dorsum, nasal dorsum, nasal dorsum.
Say it again.
Guys, why don't you two jump each other and just get it over with?
What did you say?
I'm sorry. That was out of line. It's been a long day.
Let's finish this up.
Your mommy's on her way.
Judge wants to start.
Well, he can't start without me, and I'm still out here.
She's not coming. Who'd you line up for a foster family?
I didn't.
What?
I thought she would be here.
Maxine, the girl has a drug problem and a history of not showing up for court dates.
And why do you suppose that is?
Listen, I know you feel responsible for Brittany.
I am responsible for Brittany.
Okay, well, the judge is getting impatient, and Connor needs a place to sleep tonight, so you need to get in there, and I'll find a placement.
Try the Dixons. They have the space, and they're willing to take someone on short notice.
Dr. Egan, I thought you were...
Not here? Well, obviously I am. And imagine my confusion when I walked into the ICU and saw the Diaz girl there recuperating from her rhinoplasty. And the really confusing part? To the best of my recollection, I don't remember doing the operation. And when I checked for my schedule today, guess what? She wasn't on it.
I transferred Anna Diaz off your patient chart.
Kyle, there you are. What's going on?
Your resident has just admitted that he has transferred a patient out of my care completely without my knowledge.
What does he mean? What patient?
The Diaz girl.
Anna Diaz?
Apparently he didn't like my treatment plan. So he removed her from my schedule. The level of insubordination here borders on the criminal, and I intend to talk to the board about this.
He had my authorization.
Yours?
I approved the patient transfer. I should have told you.
I don't believe that.
Well, that's not my problem, is it?
You're making a mistake.
Don't even try to talk to me.
Megan, I don't doubt that you were very happy at Rockwater Academy. No one picks on you, and you feel safe. But you're not going to be able to stay there forever. Eventually you'll graduate, and you'll have to go back to the same real world with the same prejudices. Now, your advisor has stated that this school is supposed to be temporary, and it's pretty clear to me that you could probably get a better education somewhere else. And if you think the overweight are treated badly in this society, wait till you see what happens to the uneducated.
I'm not going to amend the custody agreement because I find no abuse or neglect, just a very strong difference of opinion. However, I am going to stipulate that Megan can remain at Rockwater only if she abides by the school program and if she shows progress comparable to that of the other students. Otherwise, the school could become a velvet coffin, which rewards Megan for remaining overweight.
I don't understand. What does that mean?
It means she can't stay there if she stays fat.
Well, that's out-and-out bigotry.
Wait, you send her to a fat farm. The judge is saying she shouldn't stay at the fat farm because it makes her stay fat, and now you're arguing that the ruling isn't fair to fat people. Does anyone else have whiplash from trying to keep this straight?
Mr. Moran, I'm actually not finished. I am also strongly recommending at least one session per week for family therapy for the three of you. And then we will meet back here in 3 months and see how it's going.
So I'm confused. Who won?
I think you all won, Mrs. Moran. You just don't know it yet.
You're not speaking to me, are you?
Too angry to speak with you.
Well, will you listen? Because there actually is an explanation.
Oh, I know the explanation. You didn't agree with Egan, so you decided to go ahead and do what you thought was best without giving a thought to the consequences.
You saw that girl's face. He was going to do the bare minimum, and that's what she was going to have to live with. People don't treat their pets that way.
Why didn't you come to me?
Well, I did. That's why.
No! Why didn't you come to me before you made your stupid executive decision? You manipulated me, Kyle.
I didn't want you to say no.
I wouldn't have. Why don't you know that? You're a very good doctor, Kyle. And I'm glad you're here. But there's something about you.
Something irresistible?
Every time I think I'm getting closer to you, you do something stupid or foolish. And I catch just a glimpse of what you must have been like before you got kicked out of med school.
I was an addict back then. I was using.
Back then. What's your excuse now? Please don't screw this up, Kyle. Any of it.
Just got off the phone with the Dixons. Connor's settling in.
I am sorry about that. I should have covered my bases. I made a bad call.
It all worked out. Did you have Brittany's file?
You should have seen this child at 8 years old. She had the sweetest smile. She fell through the cracks, is what happened. 10 years ago. You weren't here yet. But I went through, something. Depression, I suppose. The doctor said it was a delayed reaction to my husband's death. And he encouraged me. Actually, he insisted that I take some time off, which I had never done. I remember placing Brittany about a week before my sabbatical. By the time I got back, she was somebody else's case. I had 50 new cases to worry about. But she was my responsibility first.
You're keeping that boy safe. That's the best thing you can do for Brittany. You're allowed to have a life, Maxine, so I'm going to say this only one more time. If you decide you want to take more time off, which you won't because you're fine, but if you do, just know you have my blessing.
Thank you.
Now go home.
I'm just packing up.
Maxine, line 2.
Who is it?
She didn't say, but I think she's crying.
This is Maxine Gray. Hello. Brittany, is that you? I can help you, Brittany, when you're ready. But you need to talk to me. All right, you have this number. I'll be here for a while tonight, and I'll be here tomorrow. This is where I'll be. So...
You have any idea what time it is, young lady?
Call me young lady again. And pour me a glass of that, would you?
Where were you?
I was at work. Where do you think I was?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you were at dinner. Sean or Peter? Charles?
Amy, you're upset.
No, I feel like a fool, that's all.
Why?
Because I've been saying, Mom, I'm worried about you. You have to talk to someone. And all along, you were talking to someone. You were talking to Charles, right? And that's good. It is. I just didn't know that you and Charles were so close. That's all.
I didn't tell you. I had this crazy notion that you would feel left out or jealous or something.
Well, that is ridiculous.
Well, of course it is.
You have to deal with this however you deal with this, and it's got nothing to do with me.
Amy, come here.
I understand. I do. No, you lost Jared, and Charles lost his father, and... Oh... I don't know. I was afraid.
Of what?
Of losing you.
Amy, I depend on you for so many things you have no idea.
Your fiancé dies and I make it all about me?
Well, yeah, that's one of the things I depend on you for.
So how is it being back at work? How's it going?
I've had a lousy couple of days.
Tell me.
Oh. There's a girl, chronic runaway. I should be used to it by now, but they're tough.
I had one really quick last week.
Brittany Johnston. I first met her